Alright, this is a review of the Zoom Q4N. Specifically, we're actually going to be comparing the Q4N to the Q4. There are a lot of folks complaining about the Q4 that under not awesome lighting conditions, you would get very, very grainy video. So that's mostly what I'm going to focus on. Is it worth it to upgrade to the Q4N over the Q4? But since I've got it here, I'm actually filming this on my Q4. But let me review the Q4N and all the various features. So a little bit different last time with the Q4. It popped up for the XY. Here, you slide it up from the back, and then you can turn these. You can see that automatically, as you turn it, it goes down automatically. This one goes up automatically, and now you're in XY or AB, whatever. Other thing you'll notice here, let me put this back down just to pop it out of the way, is something new. You've got this slide or dial here. This is your audio input. You didn't have any control over audio input before, really. So now you have control over audio input. How much do you want? So if you have somebody manually doing this and you notice that you're getting peaks on your audio, you can turn it up or turn it down, or if you're not hitting it high enough, you can turn it up. This is as opposed to the auto functions that you had on the old Q4. The auto functions still exist, but they're actually in the menu now. On, record. We're looking on the bottom here, some of the changes between the Q4 and the Q4N. The battery's in a different location. So it used to be that down here you had a location where the battery and the SD card slot were, and you slid this open. It was very easy to get to, and you could pop them in and pop them out. So the battery's still pretty easy to get in and out of. It's here. I pull that out pretty easily. The SD is a little bit harder because you've got this small little, if you can see that, you got a small little tab right there. It's actually kind of difficult to get it open. But once you get it open, then you've got your slot for your SD card. You pop in your SD card, close it back up. Not that big of a deal. You probably aren't going to be taking the SD card in and out all that often. In terms of functionality, you do have, again, same thing on the back. You've got your USB for charging or for video transfer, HDMI, external. Can I turn it on? Yes, I can turn it on. So again, it tells you no SD card in it, obviously. But the menu, everything's on screen. There's no buttons down here before, which I actually like this better. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked the onboard, but I've noticed that the buttons can be sensitive, like how I touch it. This is a little bit easier. So I click it here, and I'm immediately in my menu. I go to camera, and here's my scene location in camera. So I can click the scene. I've got a whole bunch of scenes: auto, concert lighting, night lighting, dance, jazz, rehearsal studio, sunset. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm going to review a couple of those and compare them to what we had before on the Q4. Under recording, you can go into video here. You do have something higher than you had before. The last one only went to 1080p, 30 frames per second, 24 meg. This one actually goes up to 3M HD, 30 frames per second, 24 megabits per second. So it does have a higher recording mode in terms of video. And again, primarily what I'm concerned about with this one is the video capability, because the video was what was bothering me before. It was so grainy. So all the other stuff is pretty much the same here. It's the video we care about the most. Here in this recording here, so I can go, here's where you do your low cut. Before, low cut was actually on this side over here, and you could say I want low cut, or I want to have high gain, medium gain, low gain. So here you actually have low cut here on an on screen, and I turn it on. I always turn it on. And auto gain, you have concert, you have solo, and you have meeting, just like you had before. These are their auto gain functions. So before you had auto gain of you had different auto gain capabilities. So in the old Q4, they're still here, but there's nothing on the outside. So you can have it to off or concert or solo. For most of my recordings, I'm going to have it actually on solo. So again, this is the auto function in terms of the lighting. So we'll see how good the lighting is. lighting. So whatever auto sounds like, again, I've got it on the auto setting for sound 2. Alright, so this is 720p, but 720p, 30 frames per second, 8 megabits per second, in auto mode, again with solo. Alright, hopefully that's got it. This is the Q4 again, and this is again 720p/30 instead of the 1080, 720p/30 frames per second, and I set the lighting to auto instead of night. This is auto settings, auto light settings with the 3M HD recording. Alright, so real quick again. The sound should be the same. I'm still on solo here. Again, that was night. All right. Okay, so this is the Q4 versus the Q4N. So this is 1080p /30 frames per second mode. So it's the highest one that they have for video. On the Q4N, they do have 2 higher than this, but this Q4, this is the 1080p 30. And I have it in night right now. And I also have the auto sound, which I like better. Alright, so this is concert low light setting. So they have concert setting, which is brighter lights on stage. This is concert low light setting. This is probably more like my basement, pretty low light. Maybe not night, but it's low light. Volume should be the same. This last one is called the garage setting. So maybe garage is like my basement, I'm not sure. But again, volume is going to be the same. That's garage setting for light, and again, I'm still on the solo audio setting. So now this should be different because I'm trying to simulate the field of view on the Q4N that I was getting from the Q4. So this is essentially about 12 feet closer to me. And to give you an idea, the camera was 15 feet away from me before. Now it's about 3 feet away from me, so it's actually really close to me. But you still get the same field of view as the Q4. So obviously the quality is going to be a lot higher, but that also means you have to be a lot closer to the object here. This is the Q4, not the Q4N, but the Q4, 4 feet away, just 4 feet away. So it's going to be, so obviously the field of vision is much narrower. I just showed you the Q4N, and I had brought it in 4 feet away to try to give you the same field of vision as the Q4 was giving us from 12 feet away. So now you can see, obviously now my field of vision is even narrower. So what's the quality going to look like in this one now?